world always needs an explanation for the ineffable atrocities committed by the perpetrators. But what about the family and loved ones of the victims? Explanations are not enough. Closure from apologies and repentance from a contrite heart are still also not enough. The frequent questions that pop up in our minds are, what goes on in the minds of these people before they commit these acts? Don't they have regard for the life of these beautiful souls? Doesn't it occur to them that there are consequences to their actions? The story you're about to watch is horrendous, and more often than not, you have to pause and assimilate the details. Most importantly, you'll feel the weight of the story momentously pressing against your chest. In a shocking turn of events, former government minister Kuandyk Bishimbayev was convicted for the brutal beating to death of his wife. The trial, which was broadcast live, captured the attention of the nation and sparked a debate about justice and accountability. Despite the verdict, some argue that the punishment was not harsh enough for the crime committed. As the case unfolded, the true extent of Bishimbayev's violence and abuse came to light, leaving many wondering how such a prominent figure could be capable of such heinous acts. The trial was not just a legal battle, but a test of the country's commitment to combating domestic violence and holding powerful individuals accountable for their actions. In the end, justice prevailed, but the scars left behind by Bishimbayev's actions will forever haunt the nation. Welcome to another edition of True Crime Stories. Today we'll be narrating the ordeal that finally put him behind bars to pay for his sins for a longer time, Kuandyk Bishimbayev, a Kazakhstan political tycoon. Bishimbayev was born in the city of Orda in 1980, a place filled with rich history and culture. From a young age, he showed promise and ambition, excelling in his studies and setting his sights on a future filled with success. After graduating from Narxos University in Almaty in 1999, Bishimbayev continued his education at Dulati University in 2001, where he deepened his knowledge in economics and business. His dedication and hard work did not go unnoticed, and in 2003 he earned a prestigious scholarship to study for a master's in business administration at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. as part of the Bolashak Scholarship. Upon his return to Kazakhstan, Bishimbayev quickly made a name for himself in the field of economics and politics. In 2006, he was appointed as the advisor to the Minister of Economy and Budget Planning, a position that allowed him to influence important decisions that shaped the country's economic future. His strategic thinking and innovative ideas caught the attention of high-ranking officials, and in December 2006, he was appointed as advisor to the Deputy Prime Minister of Kazakhstan. In 2007, Bishimbayev took on the role of president of the Center for the Development of Trade Policy, where he worked tirelessly to promote international trade agreements and boost Kazakhstan's economic growth. His reputation continued to grow, and on 22nd of May 2009, he was appointed as the assistant to the president of Kazakhstan, serving as a key advisor on economic and development issues. Bishimbayev's career trajectory continued to soar as he was appointed as the Vice Minister of Trade and Economic Development on 16th of March 2010. In this role, he played a crucial role in implementing economic reforms and driving sustainable growth in Kazakhstan. His passion for making a difference in his country's future was unwavering, and his dedication to his work earned him the respect and admiration of his colleagues and superiors. However, the pinnacle of Bishimbayev's career came in 2016 when he was appointed as the Minister of National Economy, a position that allowed him to shape policy and drive economic transformation on a national level. As protests against land reform swept across the country, Bishimbayev's leadership was put to the test. With his sharp intellect and calm demeanor, he navigated through the tumultuous times, working tirelessly to find solutions that would benefit the people of Kazakhstan. Despite his best efforts, Bishimbayev faced challenges and opposition in his role as Minister of National Economy. The political landscape was fraught with power struggles and conflicting interests, and on 28 December 2016, he was dismissed from his position. On a cold winter day in January 2017, the National Bureau for Combating Corruption made a shocking announcement. A prominent figure, Bishimbayev, was convicted of allegedly receiving bribes on an especially large scale in a group of persons by prior conspiracy. The news sent shockwaves throughout the community, as Bishimbayev was a well-respected individual. Just 2 days later, on 12th of January, Bishimbayev was placed under arrest, sending him into a whirlwind of legal battles and accusations. The evidence against him was strong, and the Interdistrict Specialized Court for Criminal Cases of Astana found him guilty on 14th of March 2018. He was sentenced to 10 years of imprisonment in a maximum security penal system, with his property acquired through criminal means confiscated. However, Bishimbayev made influential people as friends and had a powerful connection with the then President Nursultan Nazarbayev. He was not one to give up easily, so he appealed to the president for pardon, citing his remorse for his actions and asking for a second chance. Surprisingly, but unsurprisingly, his request was granted in February 2019, and his prison term was reduced to 4 years. After serving his time, Bishimbayev was released from prison early on 11 December 2020. The once respected figure now had a chance to redeem himself and make amends for his past mistakes. But was he going to do that? Saltanat Nukenova's childhood in Pavlodar was filled with memories of snowy winters and warm family moments. She was always curious about the stars and the universe, dreaming of becoming an astrologer one day. Her godmother's gift of a book on astrology sparked a passion within her at a young age, setting her on a path towards helping others with her unique gift. After finishing school, Saltanat moved to Almaty to live with her brother, Aytbek. The time they spent together was precious, as they built a strong bond that would last into adulthood. Aytbek fondly remembered his cheerful and loving sister, who had big dreams of opening a school of astrology to share her knowledge with others. Saltanat's career as an astrologer flourished in Almaty, where she helped women navigate through difficult situations in their lives. Her compassionate nature and intuitive insights made her a sought-after advisor, providing guidance and support to those in need. In the year 2022, Bishimbayev found himself searching for an astrologer in hopes of finding guidance for his stormy love life. After divorcing his second wife, he felt lost and unsure of what the future held for him. It was during this search that he stumbled upon Saltanat, a mysterious and aloof woman who intrigued him from the moment he laid eyes on her. Despite Saltanat's apparent disinterest in him, Bishimbayev was determined to win her over. He enlisted the help of a friend to arrange a meeting, and to his surprise, Saltanat reluctantly agreed. As they got to know each other, Bishimbayev was drawn to Saltanat's quiet strength and enigmatic nature. Before long, he realized that she was the one he had been searching for all along. Behind the lovey-dovey masks on their faces in public, Saltanat was extremely worried. Her life took a dark turn when she met Kuandyk Bishimbayev. Aytbek, her brother, recounted the intense courtship that followed their initial meeting, with Bishimbayev becoming obsessed with Saltanat. Despite her initial refusal, he persisted in pursuing her, eventually winning her over and marrying her. Months passed, and Bishimbayev and Saltanat's relationship blossomed into a deep and profound love. In a whirlwind of passion and excitement, they decided to get married. The wedding took place in a lavish restaurant, a symbol of their newfound happiness and shared future. At least, that's what Bishimbayev wanted everyone else to see, but that wasn't what went down totally. As their relationship progressed, Saltanat began to notice red flags in Bishimbayev's behavior. He became controlling and manipulative, isolating her from her work and friends. Saltanat confided in her brother about the bruises she was hiding, expressing her desire to leave her husband. Tragedy struck on the 10th of November 2023, when they went out on a lovely date. Saltanat was brutally beaten to death in the same restaurant where they had exchanged vows. On that fateful day in November, Bishimbayev's violent tendencies reached a deadly peak. In a fit of jealousy and rage, he brutally attacked Saltanat in a crowded restaurant in Astana, beating her to death in a chilling assault captured on CCTV cameras. It was a cold and dreary night when Nukanova, as she was fondly called, met her gruesome fate at the hands of her husband, Bishimbayev. According to court documents, her final hours were spent in the back of the restaurant they owned, where she was subjected to a brutal and unforgivable attack. The details of the hours leading up to Saltanat's murder remain hazy, with audio recordings revealing Bishimbayev's cruel words and accusations towards his wife. Bakhitjan Bayjanov, a relative of Bishimbayev and director of the food court complex housing the restaurant, has been accused of concealing a crime. He claimed he erased the footage of that night on the instructions of Bishimbayev. However, the CCTV footage, which had been deleted on Bishimbayev's orders, was later restored, revealing the horrific events that took place on that fateful night. Bishimbayev was seen hitting and kicking Nukanova, dragging her by the hair through the restaurant's hallway. The footage from his own phone was even more disturbing, showing him asking her repeatedly if she had cheated on him with a businessman, as he proceeded to sexually assault her and film her naked. As the harrowing audio of the footage played in the courtroom, tears flowed freely from those present. Nukanova's family, who had only discovered her death through the news, were determined to seek justice for her brutal murder in a country plagued by corruption and impunity. The post-mortem examination revealed the extent of Nukanova's injuries, which included a brain injury from external bruises, abrasions, and wounds. Signs of strangulation were also evident, indicating the sheer brutality of the attack. The trial against Bishimbayev and his accomplice, Bayjanov, began amidst a backdrop of political intrigue and societal pressure. President Tokayev's promises of a fairer society hung in the balance as the case garnered widespread attention, particularly due to the trial being conducted exclusively in Russian, which attracted a larger audience. As the trial progressed, more shocking details emerged, painting a disturbing picture of domestic abuse and violence. Bishimbayev's repeated calls to a fortune teller to confirm whether his wife will be all right, while his wife lay unconscious in the VIP room, added a chilling element to the story. And yet, Bishimbayev attempted to minimize the gravity of his actions. He acknowledged inflicting injuries on Saltanat, injuries that tragically resulted in her death, but he adamantly insisted that it had not been deliberate. With the courtroom abuzz with tension and anticipation, the jury grappled with the overwhelming evidence against the accused. The quest for justice was fraught with challenges and obstacles, as the shadow of corruption loomed large over the proceedings. Saltanat's untimely death sent shockwaves through the country, prompting a national conversation about domestic violence and the need for better protection of vulnerable individuals. As the trial unfolded, the true extent of Bishimbayev's manipulation and abuse towards Saltanat came to light. His charade of love and affection had masked a dangerous obsession that ultimately led to tragedy. In a twist of fate, it was revealed that Nukanova's death may have occurred hours before the ambulance was finally called, further deepening the tragedy of her untimely demise. The echoes of her final moments reverberated through the courtroom, leaving a lasting impact on all those who bore witness to the trial. Aitbek spoke passionately about his sister, who always fought for justice, no matter the circumstances. Aitbek said she had a deep sense of righteousness and was always there to protect those in need. He believed that the current laws were just the beginning and that there was still much more that needed to be done to ensure that even the most powerful individuals could be held accountable. Aitbek was eagerly awaiting the trial in Kazakhstan that would demonstrate that the law applied equally to everyone. He was confident that this trial would show the people that justice will prevail and that no one is above the law. He knew that the outcome of this case would have a significant impact on the country's legal system. People were on edge, waiting to see if justice would truly be served. In the end, the verdict was reached, and Aitbek felt a sense of relief wash over him. The weight of Nukanova's senseless death cast a long shadow over the proceedings. The cries for justice reverberated through the halls of the courthouse, a stark reminder of the horrors that lurked beneath the surface of society. The system had worked, and everyone, regardless of their power or influence, was held accountable for their actions. The trial had shown the people of Kazakhstan that justice was indeed blind, and that the law applied equally to all. Aitbek's sister's legacy of fighting for justice had truly made a difference. Kuandyk Bishimbayev, a former minister of the Kazakhstan economy, was sentenced to 24 years in prison for the murder of his wife Sultanat Nukanova. Bakhitjan Bayjanov, the relative who helped to cover up the crime, was also convicted and received a 4-year sentence for being an accessory after the fact. The incident has highlighted the severe issue of domestic violence in the country, where the United Nations estimates that approximately 400 women lose their lives to such violence annually. By comparison, in England and Wales, which have a population 3 times larger, only 70 deaths related to domestic violence were recorded in the year leading to March 2023. Between 2018 and 2022, reports of domestic violence in Kazakhstan surged, with calls to crisis centers rising by 141.8%. In response to public outcry, including a petition signed by over 150,000 people demanding tougher domestic violence laws, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev enacted new legislation on April 15th, known as Sultanat's Law. The new rules reclassify domestic violence as a criminal offense, overturning a controversial 2017 decision to decriminalize certain acts of abuse. While the law is seen as a step forward, activists argue it has significant shortcomings. Dinara Smailova, who leads the Nemolchike Z Foundation, has criticized how injuries are classified under the law, noting that serious harm like broken bones is often treated as minor unless a victim requires at least 21 days of hospitalization. Although the reforms mark progress, activists stress that Kazakhstan still has a long way to go in addressing domestic violence and ensuring adequate protection for victims. On May 15th, 2 days after Bishimbayev and his cousin were found guilty, all eyes turned to Nukanova as she would have turned 32 years old. Many saw her as a symbol of the ongoing fight for women's rights in Kazakhstan. Her tragic story had sparked a wave of activism and solidarity across the country. Nukanova's brother decided to honor her memory by creating the Sultanat Foundation, an organization dedicated to helping victims of domestic violence seek justice. Female artists from all walks of life came together to donate their drawings to the foundation, hoping to raise awareness and funds for the cause. Poems were penned in Nukanova's memory, capturing the essence of her courage and resilience. Her photos and videos were shared far and wide on social media, serving as a reminder of the ongoing struggle for women's rights in Kazakhstan. As the days passed, Nukanova's legacy grew stronger, inspiring others to stand up and speak out against domestic violence. Her story became a rallying cry for change, a beacon of hope for those who had suffered in silence. And so, even in death, Nukanova's spirit lived on, fueling the flames of a revolution that would not be extinguished. The fight for women's rights continued, fueled by the memory of a brave soul who had dared to challenge the status quo. The trial of Sultanat Nukunova's killers had come to an end, but the scars left behind would never fully heal. The quest for truth and accountability continued as her memory lived on in the hearts of those who had fought tirelessly for justice in her name. Her memory lived on as a symbol of resilience and strength, inspiring others to speak out against abuse and seek help in times of need. In the end, Sultanat's story was a cautionary tale of the dangers of toxic relationships and the importance of recognizing the signs of abuse before it's too late. Her legacy as a compassionate and caring individual would always be remembered, shining bright like the stars she once gazed upon in wonder. As we conclude this chilling story of Sultanat Nukunova's life and untimely death, we are reminded of the profound impact one individual can have on the fight against domestic violence. Sultanat's legacy is not only a heartbreaking tragedy, but also a powerful catalyst for change, one that continues to echo across Kazakhstan and the world. Her strength, resilience, and ultimate sacrifice have inspired countless voices to rise, demanding justice and an end to the cycles of abuse that too many are forced to endure in silence. Her family's relentless pursuit of justice and the monumental legislation that followed, Sultanat's Law, reminds us that while the wounds of violence may never fully heal, they can ignite a flame of hope that fuels change. Sultanat's life may have been stolen from her too soon, but her memory is now a beacon for all who fight against domestic abuse. If Sultanat's story has left you thinking, questioning, and reflecting, please like and share this video to create an awareness on domestic abuse, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story. Share your thoughts and comments below. Your voice matters in this ongoing battle for justice. Together, we can continue to honor her memory and ensure that no more lives are lost to the shadows of domestic violence. Thank you for watching.